Welcome to AltJake Takes On.
Hello again, everybody. We are back. This is AltJake. You're listening to AltJake Takes On, episode number 23. I'm here with my buddy George, as always. How you doing today, my friend?
Doing great. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. I do want to send a quick shout out and a big thank you to Chris Connor and MJ from NJ for hanging out with us on Spaces this past Sunday. It's a really good panel I felt like we had. I got a lot of great feedback about the four of us just being the way we were interactive and the way we had different opinions, but being able to really discuss the different parts with the ESPN deal. It was kind of fun listening to NJ become a fan of Kross in real time. That was cool. So big shout out to them. Thank you so much, both of them, for hanging out with us. This Sunday, we'll be back at 8:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with
new guest.
With a new guest, the wrestling old head who does host a podcast. He does have a YouTube channel as well. Please check out his stuff. He's a great guy. I've interacted with him a lot of times on the shout out to Rumor and Innuendo. I always have trouble saying that and at once there, but with hosted by Dominic D'Angelo and Robert Karpelis. It's a good, cool little news show at noon Eastern every day on YouTube. And through that chat was actually how I connected with Robert, the wrestling old head, being able to crack jokes and being on a similar vein. And yeah, I'm glad we're able to bring him on. That should be a fun conversation and good times had by all. We will crack a lot of fun jokes and have a lot to talk about too with the news and stuff that's been happening this week and what could be coming up. Anything you wanted to kind of cover? Any show notes?
No.
Any news? Yeah. All right, cool. Well, then let's get into the breaking news.
And now for an AltJake Takes On exclusive.
I love it. Shout out to Chuck for that. Our little breaking news feed here. Yeah, with the exclusive being our opinions on all the news.
Yeah, keep in mind, folks, we are not a news source.
No, but we're just
commenting on what we see.
What's been shown to us. Yeah, this is kind of more, we're not reporting anything. We don't want to present anything with it. We're just kind of talking about what we've seen in it. We got to cover, I feel like the biggest thing, not the biggest thing, but one of the more surprising things and what a lot of people end up talking about was the Hulk Hogan TMZ documentary. I don't really biography.
That was fun to watch.
It was interesting. Well, what was interesting was that I never saw any. I heard about it after it had been on. I didn't even know it was a thing. I didn't, I don't watch a lot of commercials with it, but it was something that I made sure I went and tracked down because obviously you want to see it, especially once you heard that Vince McMahon was a part of it with his brand new Sputnik Monroe hairdo. Well, I don't know if it's a brand new face or the remodeled old face or I don't know. I don't know how far. I don't know if it's the hair.
I'll just mention. I think I mentioned to you off air. I listened to Bubba Love Sponge. Okay.
Yeah.
And he has Monday and Tuesday has a plastic surgeon in the room, and the guy was telling us exactly what Vince had done.
Oh wow. Shout out to Bubba the Love Sponge. That would be something I would like to hear that. Yeah.
No, for sure. But it's his professional opinion that he's plenty done. And well, I agree.
I mean, their location. Bubba, I'm assuming he's still in Tampa in that, Florida area. If anybody's going to know a lot about the rhinoplasty, it's going to be people in that realm. It's a high area for it. So yeah, maybe he wasn't 100% right on it, but I bet you he was closer than most.
He's pretty good. He said he had a forehead lift. He's had some work done on his cheeks, and you can see that. His lips aren't normal at all.
Well, and then I feel like he accentuates them too. Like, is there a lips?
It's and then what's with the weird decision?
What's with the skunk line? Or if anybody, to the older wrestling fans in the world, Sputnik Monroe was my first thought. If you don't know about him, look him up.
Get that? I have that. Like if you dig down further, it's not great anymore, but I'm surprised he shows it, but that's fine.
Right.
I get
but yours is always going to be a natural thing, as where we know there's nothing natural about Vince. And then, he had I grabbed this picture specifically because it had the, 14th and the company background with it. But it was an interesting documentary, but it was also just very, it was very TMZ, I guess is the best way to say it.
It's not really a documentary, is it?
Right. It was just, it's more of a special.
Kind of what happened at TMZ that day.
Right. And then they kind of went through a good chunk of his career and different points. But I mean, they had Mark Henry, Sylvester Stallone, Goldberg. You know, I mean, there was Jimmy Hart. That was another one. Jimmy Hart too. It's you really feel bad for him in a lot of it too, because he is just. I'm not sure there's a nicer guy. I mean, I know they always say Mick Foley's the nicest guy in wrestling, and he probably is, but I feel like it's him with Jimmy Hart neck and neck, and rest in peace, Bobby Eaton being another one there for sure. But
Jimmy's a good dude. He is told tall tales about Hogan's condition, but that's fine.
Oh well, yeah. But I feel like but he was also asked to by the family. I feel like, and he'll do that for them. He's loyal till the end, as we know with him. But it's just speaking of a few things that weren't loyal to the end, and another reason to bringing up Vince, the special, the piece, whatever you want, the program, whatever you want to call it, was interesting, but there was nothing, I don't know, salacious or that shocking within it. But the parts that caught my eye were, there was a few subtle digs early from Vince to Triple H. Early, there was a couple early that were a little bit, one-liners or whatever, that maybe not how I would have done it. And by the end of it, though, I mean, it was where he set them up to fail. He deserves more than just walking out there. Like, I mean, it's going to be a very interesting Thanksgiving that I would think this year from that. I mean, he's
not wrong.
He called him out.
He's not wrong, but from Triple H's standpoint, what else could you have done with him?
Bingo. It was exactly, because Hogan couldn't. I mean, the reason he was done that because he physically couldn't get into the ring, and it was just one of those situations, and he wants to be part of the Netflix premiere, but with where it was and the politics of things. Yeah, I mean, but you're nailed it. Like, because I didn't so much disagree with Vince in that sense either, but you nailed my exact thought. And actually what I had written down I got a half page of notes, but literally wrote down, what else could you do? You were put in a very weird situation, kind of put in that place where, and I mean, when he came, I wasn't surprised that there was booing. I was just surprised at how long and how many, that was, and I think, and it was just how it went with it. And it's a sad way for him to have his last appearance in WWE.
Los Angeles wasn't the place for him.
No,
that would have been different in New York.
Oh, for sure. It would have been different in a lot of places, like you put it in Texas or in a lot of other places, but it is what it is. But I feel like what WWE's always does very well is presenting the good, the packages they've done, the 10 bell salutes and stuff with it. But the documentary, there was some good stuff within it, but I mean, we just had to at least talk about Vince.
Yeah, he wasn't shy about saying he would have done a better job. Basically, that's what he said.
Yeah, I would have done better. No, you're right. That's not exactly what he said, but that's exactly what he said.
Yeah,
yeah, 100%.
No doubt. And I believe him too.
Yeah,
he would have done a better job. He would.
Yeah.
No,
you're right. You're right, because with things like that, Vince,
that was his wheelhouse.
Yeah, exactly. Even crazy old man Vince as he is now, that still would have been right in that world of what he could have done. But yeah, no, it was an interesting piece from TMZ, and it got big ratings. I know it drew bigger ratings than Dynamite. It drew bigger ratings than NXT as well, didn't it? I'm pretty sure did it get over a million?
What did they have it on? What was it on?
It was on regular Fox.
Fox. It was Fox.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was on regular, like, local.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if it ran the same time everywhere, if it ran at like 7:00, Eastern, Central, Pacific, or if it ran at 8 p.m. Eastern time and live. I don't think it was live, so I think it was it was on 7 my local time, Fox. So. Okay, that's what. Yeah, so I think what it was the hour before prime time. Because it aired with where I live in Phoenix. Our prime time is actually 7 to 10 instead of 8 to 11. Like our news goes on at 10 p.m. So it ran from 6 to 7 here. So yeah, no, it was interesting. And then just the whole,
it wasn't bad.
Yeah, it was presented well. And I mean, it was good to have like guys like Mark Henry in there with it. That was cool to hear from him, more of a current star. It's not like they were going to be able, they did be able to bring in, they obviously went to a Raw or a SmackDown and just put a room there and film them within there when they had Charlotte and, Raquel and Roxanne and all that. But it was good. I'm it was good to see. It was very interesting. The Vince parts of it, just though I wasn't surprised he talked shit, but it's just the way he talked shit. It was
Yeah, if you like TMZ and all that, you like this.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. And then the other story, I mean, we've talked about it a bit on Spaces before, like I said, where MJ became a fan of him in real time, but Karrion Kross went on Ariel Helwani. I mean, I think that kind of at least proves that, I mean, unless it is a full work and he has re-signed, which I don't think that's part of it. I'll get into what I think it is at this point in the moment, but you know, because if there was a release or whatever, he wouldn't have been able to go on Helwani for the 90 days. But with the contract expiring, he's allowed to. It was an interesting interview. I mean, I don't think there's anything too groundbreaking. I think there's a lot we didn't know.
Yeah, if you didn't watch it, all it is I'm not working there anymore. Yeah.
It was very good about him not burning bridges. Like, you know, he was trying to say, the only parts that I thought was a little strange was, I mean, I just don't feel like they would the whole, like, they only gave me 24 hours to look over the contract.
There was a lot of shit that was suspect, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was parts of it. And that's kind of why I wanted to bring it up, because I felt like about any of it, that was the parts that I was just kind of like, huh?
Yeah, like, when I asked about my wife, they said, we're not offering her a deal. You have 24 hours.
Yeah, like that was
what?
Yeah, exactly. Like there was parts of that I just feel like if nothing else, like there's lawyers that are gonna take a little bit more than that to just look it over and make sure everything's, you know, cross all the T's and dot the lowercase J's. But it was very strange. But it wasn't, but it was just kind of, there wasn't that much. It was kind of repetitive. I think that was, we brought that offline, where it was, you know, once you kind of got through the first 15, 20 minutes, I don't think you needed too much more within it. But
he just asked him, is it a work? And I think no.
Yeah. And that's, what
do you expect him to ask?
Yeah. What's he going to, I thought Helwani was good about stuff too, about prefacing of like, look, I'm just doing what I have to do here. You know, I'm not trying to call you, I'm not trying to call you a liar. So I know you're a 7-degree black belt in jiu-jitsu and can break baseball bats with your legs. And Helwani is about the size of a baseball bat at certain parts. So, but to me, it feels like this is really one of those deals where it's like, yeah, maybe it's not a work at all, but it's in the sense of like, hey, go out there, pull a Drew McIntyre, pull a Cody Rhodes, pull a Naomi, you know, what she did when she left and did well for herself. And then, you know, get over in TNA, make yourself a star, get yourself known where the people have to pay attention, have to watch you. And then maybe the door's always open. He was very good about making sure that door was wide open, which I thought was smart, but at least wanted to bring it up. I didn't have too much to say about it.
He's in that boat. I think you and I talked about it, maybe, or somewhere I talked to you about it. He's in that boat where he's in that no-win situation, where if you go to, he's in a win-win situation, really. But if you go to TNA, people are going to like, see, told you. And he's not going to AEW.
Right. And that's the thing. I feel like that's like, he can't, like, with Callis there and what happened with Scarlett,
he's not going there at all.
Never mind that. Just even if the Scarlett stuff didn't happen, we know Tony doesn't know how to book larger professional wrestlers, and he is that. So like, let's be real. So I guess there's Japan, but or maybe the Matt Cardona route where he kind of just goes around indies and they wreck shop on the indies, but there's 2 of them. They got to get. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's going to be hard to pay him.
He was going away anyway for the book tour thing.
Right.
So maybe it's just after the book tour thing, he does a couple independent shows and he pops back up on TV.
Or maybe parts of And
watch out for Bound for Glory. That's all I'm going to say.
Bingo. And I'm glad you kind of said that, because that leads us into the next topic that we've got, which is the possibility, and everyone talking about that TNA is on the verge of closing in on a major media rights deal.
I'm going to interrupt you. I'm going to interrupt you here.
Anytime.
Let's keep in mind of 2 things. We're a smaller channel. We're not huge. We're not a big channel. However, you have heard 2 things here that you haven't heard. You heard here first, actually. One was a Seth Rollins injury, and the other one was somebody mentioning TNA going to CW 6 months ago. Maybe we said that, did we?
I don't know if it was 6, because we've only been doing this.
I over exaggerated.
Yeah, but I mean, I want to say early May, maybe. sometime in May, I would think is when that was brought up, because that was really when we started paying more attention to TNA. And it might have been before. Like, I know our first video dropped on February 26th. I know that. Like, so we've been doing them since then. But we started Spaces pretty much right after that. They've been consistent on those, so we do have a lot of content out there with it. But what I would think now, with how the chips have fallen, I really wouldn't be surprised if Peacock is the answer / one of the NBC affiliate channels. Probably not USA Network, but maybe USA Network. Like, they could, but I just feel like that deal would make a lot of sense. Getting within, because with Peacock's going to be losing WWE, but probably still wants to be in the wrestling game. Would be something where that would be a great outlet for them. Wrestling fans already know how to use it. It wouldn't be that difficult within it. The CW is still definitely a great option. I still think that would be the best option with how great they've been involved with NXT.
NXT, yes.
Yeah, and with how they've cross promoted. Like, I watch TNA pretty religiously on Thursdays. This Thursday, I mean, they showed not just clips, like good chunks of what happened on NXT with JC Jane and her whole backstage segment with what she's going to have to defend the title. They showed most of Joe Hendry's match, like they're trying to against Charlie Dempsey. Like, they are really get that it's a really good partnership. And
if you look at it from a business standpoint, the number one show on CW by far is NXT. So why wouldn't you want to bring in another one? And then, from what they're speculating, that TNA might go on Wednesday and go against Dynamite, so that'd be interesting.
Yeah, no,
I may have jumped again on that.
No, you're good. That's that might be the most interesting part of it. Of like, wait, what? I still think it's probably smart for them, at least initially, just to stay on Thursdays and have Tuesday and Thursday be their big nights for them. But
yeah, I have a feeling they're not going to do that.
I think they're going to go full in. If they're going to go on with how WWE has been and how they're going to be running shows against others and how they're going to be
full in.
Yeah, and it seems like NXT is that way to do it. And also, too, good for TNA, because let's be real, the TNA AEW partnership was terrible, just absolutely fucking terrible. Like, there was nothing good about that for TNA. Yeah, exactly. It was just Tony Khan. No, Tony Khan was cutting terrible promos on their show. They put all the belts on, and then the Kenny Omega didn't even lose the belt back to a TNA talent. He lost it to Christian on an episode of fucking Rampage. Like, oh my God. No, so good for them. I hope they do it. I honestly do. I really hope they push it. Like I said, I would think it might be a best way, like maybe the first 6 months doing it on Thursday to build your audience, but maybe not. Maybe just fully push it, because what is that threshold for CW? We knew the old WBD threshold was 500,000 is what they were looking for. What's the CW looking for?
Yeah, CW is getting a minimum of 650 to 750. Call it to be safe.
I'm just wondering what their
for
number.
NXT.
Yeah, I was wondering what their minimum is. Like, what's the minimum? Well, you know what I mean? Like, it's a good question, and we don't know. Where is that point with? You just wonder if, because it's network or broadcast or whatever you want to call it, if the number, maybe it's like, as long as they're hitting 400,000, they're happy. So they're overly ecstatic now. I just wonder, because obviously NXT with WWE's advertising and the talent they have, they're going to get more viewers. I'm just wondering if NXT or if TNA goes to CW, what's that minimum that they're looking for to try to hit week to week moving forward? And obviously, with WWE,
I'm not thinking that's going to be a major concern.
I think, even better. I feel like the CW is so excited and so into it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if Peacock might have more money, but but the CW does have an app that's pretty decent. I've caught NXT through that before.
Easy to find, easy to operate. Everything's good.
Yeah.
Keep in mind also this news is brought to you by SI Wrestling, care of John Alba, to give credit to where credit is due.
Yeah. Shout out to John Alba for the article. Yeah, it's from the SI. I think it's SI Wrestling. They call it the Takedown. I know Ricky Chino's on that channel. They do I've seen some decent interviews with them, and good for them.
The only reason I'm going my direction that I'm going, originally Silva said in his the TV deal that he was originally looking for October around Bound for Glory time.
Right.
And then with everything that's happened the last couple days, last 2 weeks with ESPN and WWE and Paramount Plus with UFC, all of a sudden, I think even in this article, it says that he has changed his tune. Now they're looking at negotiating later this month. So that's all changed.
Yeah, no, it looks like I've got it right here. It looks like they were saying, getting everything together as we look towards 2026, which would have been like, getting the announcement in the for October, and probably because with like NXT, I know started like October 25th or whatever last year, so it would have been late October. But now he's saying, hey, we're talking a little bit in August, and I think hopefully in September, October, like that's and Bound for Glory is October 12th.
Quick. That's a pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things though, like
everything's happening so fast. It really is. We talked about before we went on. August is not the time of year this shit happens ever. This is normally September, October.
Yeah,
November time period where you work for
NXT
TV for
last year.
Couple of years.
Yeah, you nailed it.
They have not
NXT,
done that at all, dude.
Yeah, NXT was announced last November for this October. There was a lot of time to build. They're like, well, that's the thing about Hollywood or TV station, whatever you want to call that entertainment world. There's a lot of things can take a while, but when there's really interest and you've got someone pushing it through, they can move very quickly on a lot of this stuff if they need to. And if there's mega interest between the CW and Peacock or just one of them, like why wouldn't they? Because it's not like they've got to worry about their current deal. They own their current deal.
Right.
They're going to be happy to, because their current deal, it doesn't cost them anything, doesn't net them anything. So the moment they can move to where they're getting anything from CW or Peacock or whomever, they're going to jump day one, which is why.
The only reason I just bring up the point, because when TV announces their stuff for the next season, it's always, when is it? It's sweeps time, September, October. They announce for the next year, which is what NXT did.
Mm-hmm.
But with what's been happening lately, WWE and ESPN comes in August. Paramount Plus and UFC comes in August. This doesn't happen. I can't remember when it's ever happened. Even when they announce TV series, they don't do it in August. It doesn't happen.
No,
it's
you're
strange.
Right. You're right. No, August is, especially like with just the audiences of the world, everybody's usually in like back to school mode or whatever. End of summer, get your big. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's very interesting to see all of it happen so quickly in that part too. Like, we talked about it on Spaces before, but just the ESPN deal came out of nowhere. I mean, I'm sure there were some people that knew something about it, but like, wasn't like we were hearing there was rumors or like that. I was assuming there was going to be much more negotiations between Peacock, or NBC Universal at that point, Netflix, ESPN being involved, and to hear nothing of the negotiations, nothing of the deals, nothing of anything, and then all of a sudden at 6 a.m. Eastern time announced. Like, wait, what?
Yeah. This is where this is going to come up. This will pop up like that too. It'll be announced like one day you wake up in the morning.
Right.
TNA.
Exactly. It's just going to be
whatever.
It's just going to happen. Yeah. And with TNA, like, if they announce it early September, they could be ready to go before Bound for Glory. They could have like the first episode before Bound for Glory, or maybe their first episode is the Impact after Bound for Glory. I don't know. I mean, they can do it quickly. It's not like they've got to wait. The only reason they would wait at all was to have advertising and promotion and get it ready. And I have this picture up purposely because shout out to Carlos Silva, man. Like, I feel like he's TNA's version of Nick Khan right now. Just making shit better, being smart about it, being able to listen to other people in the business as opposed to just
no wrestling background, folks.
Right.
Zero.
So everybody says he's willing to listen. He wants to work with people. He's not a wrestling guy, but he's becoming one because he's working with wrestling people. And like, that's how this is supposed to go. That's the foundation for the future, as opposed to just, we're going to book what we like. I think this is cool. I think this is fun. Have another 15-man tag, another 12, like it just doesn't, not to harp on AEW. It's just, but if AEW is the number 2, for how much longer, man? And what are we basing that off of? Because TNA is getting pretty close to starting to be able to start and turn actual profits again. Once they get
still
TV
number
deal.
2. I mean,
yeah, no, they are. They absolutely are. For how long though? And then, like, once TNA gets that TV deal, if they start getting into the black and making money as opposed to being in the red, and then being able to get if they get decent viewers, if they're positive, if they can show that they're making money and being a positive business and get 500 to 600,000 people every week watching their TV show.
Well, technically, they're going to make money from day one.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
There's no way
that's a valid
can't
point.
lose money because they haven't done anything.
It's just how much debt are they in or whatever. But so starting for 2026 moving forward, you're right. And you're right. And if they're getting anywhere near AEW's viewership, it's going to be hard to see. And I think that's going to be the competition, which has been said.
You mentioned the word I was going to say, because right now, right as the landscape sits right now, there's no wrestling competition. WWE is number one by far. AEW is not even competition for WWE, not even close.
Nope.
So what they're going to have now, if this all goes through the way they want it to, you're going to have competition for number 2 spot, which will be riveting to watch.
Yeah, no,
I'm in for that.
And you know what? Honestly, like that could be the best thing that could happen to AEW. Really. You know what I mean? Like,
it should be the best thing to happen to AEW.
It really could be. And you're damn right. It absolutely fucking should be. That should be what makes them realize, because right now they've been punching up at big. Maybe it's time to realize, like, we've got something that is on our level that we should be fighting directly in front of us as opposed to above us that we can't even reach, because
whenever you see a fight in the stands for a football game or something, the guy that punches up always loses. Think about it.
It's like Star Wars, man. You got to have the high ground. I have the high ground. Like, it's the truth, though. It's part of how that works. It's the absolute truth. And
if it happens where TNA gets a deal and they're competitive with AEW and AEW does nothing to react, that could be it.
Oh, yeah. No. And not only that, but I feel like a lot of their fans that are, because we know there's the people that are deep into the sicko world that are still,
which is fine,
believing it. But there's a lot more in that mid range that used to be that, but are not. And I mean, if TNA's decent television with good, I could easily see
TNA can get those. Because Dynamite was averaging 1.2 million, 1,900,000 for the longest time. Those people are gone.
Yes,
they come back to this TNA, but that's a game changer.
That's a great point.
Those people are out there.
That's a great point. I was thinking of the fans they have watching now.
No,
the fans no, you're right. There's so many more of those others. Holy shit. No, fuck. Holy shit, you blew my mind, George. You're right. I didn't think about it. I didn't think about it. That's why this is why I like being a team. Damn. I was just thinking of, like, let's just say they have like 600,000 people watching right now, and 300 to 400 are the people that are like, the people that leave when the Bucks come on or whatever. I was thinking those people go over. But if they're at 600 now, what about the other 600 when they were averaging 1.2? Holy shit.
There's 600,000. There's at least 600,000 that have no place to watch wrestling right now. They don't like it.
Yeah, and those 600,000, or some of them, I'm assuming some of that part are people watching WWE or whatever.
Right.
Like, they're going to be able to see the advertising, or like they're going to see the promotion, the cross branding, whatever. And WWE will, if they're serious about it and this partnership's true, which we've seen it is, they can. I mean, they've already promoted TNA a bunch on WWE television, and they're doing it with Triple A too. I mean, come on. Oh shit. It's
gonna get interesting.
No, you really have got me thinking, like, wow, I like this. I like this. I mean, it's like I'm just sitting here thinking, like, you got me double and triple thinking this over everything that I really think. No, it's a very, very, like, it just makes so much sense. Like, I'm trying to find the fault in it. I'm trying to, like, look for where's the other shoe, but I'm like, I don't think there is. I think they've kind of got it there. Like, it just makes so much sense. Damn. Mm-hmm. No, I like it. I'm sold. Sold American style, man.
Just happens to be there's just those people are there.
Yeah, no, they are.
Where'd they go?
You're right. There's so many of them, whether it's the people that were watching before, the people that are the people that that are watching now but want to leave. Like, there's still, this could be a 2026 will be very. I mean, the end of 2025 will be very interesting if they get the deal before Bound for Glory. I mean, Bound for Glory is August 12th or October 12th. Ooh, man. No, I like it. I'm sold on it. Good for TNA. I am watching. Quickly just show they've got their show tonight with Emergence with, they're showing these on TNA Plus. Eventually, if they can get that part of it, because with CW, I mean, what are they putting on Friday nights or at different points? Like, they need the programming. And then if with Peacock, they've got other channels, NBC Universal owns like 8-9 channels, maybe more.
Yeah.
And then they've got Peacock, I mean, that's interesting.
There's places to go and people want to see it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Speaking of things that people want to see, and partnerships, the WWE AAA Mania is this Saturday, August 16th, with the Fatal 4-Way with Vikingo, Dragon Lee, Dominic Mysterio, and El Grande Germain Americano. Yeah, it's still Ludwig Kaiser. But this show is going to be on WWE's YouTube. How many views are that going to get? With the YouTube in English and the YouTube in Spanish. I mean,
ouch.
What was the other show they had before when Worlds Collide in June did very well? What's this one going to do? They've been promoting it on Raw and SmackDown I would assume SmackDown tonight, they'll promote it pretty religiously and pretty well too. They might even have some people come over and have little things. You never know what can happen with it. It's cool to see, though. I'm very, very excited about a lot of this. I'm definitely going to be watching this show tomorrow for sure.
Yeah, what I like to do sometimes is they post it up on the YouTube and they post it like 4 hours before it starts. I always like seeing how many people are in there so early.
Yeah, the waiting ones. Yeah,
the waiting list.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to be watching this show tomorrow. I mean, that's 6:00 my time. That's perfect. I'm stoked for that. But I feel like that kind of covers most of the basic news portions of the day. There was some wrestling, I think we got to talk at least a little bit on Friday of what's going to happen with tonight with Drew McIntyre Claymoring Cody through the table. Ow. That was every time they showed that replay, there was no daylight with that kick. That was pretty brutal, but
seemed to sting a little bit.
I mean, maybe that's how Cody's going to go. I don't know. Maybe his parts in the Street Fighter movie isn't too much. Maybe he's going to go film that. I'm not sure, but I know Drew McIntyre is set to address it on SmackDown. So that's going to should be pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to that. I know there's a couple of tag matches on SmackDown too, but at least this is the part I'm most intrigued in. And I saw
Clash is coming up, right?
2 weeks from tomorrow.
Okay,
Yeah. August 30th. Yeah. Clash in Paris. The main reason I wanted to bring up the Cody and Drew thing is because I saw somebody posted this on Twitter yesterday or the day before at some point. It's just cool to see how long they've kind of been. You forget they were tag team champions together in like 2009 or 10 or whatever. And I like this picture personally because the picture in the bottom left from the first SmackDown of the year, I was in attendance for that show. And it was funny when the show started and Drew McIntyre got in the ring. You're like, oh shit, we're getting the ball rolling. But SmackDown should be interesting tonight. If anything really cool happens or anything we need to talk about, we will definitely talk about it on Spaces. So please be sure to stay tuned for that and tune in with us for Spaces on Sunday live at 8:05 p.m. Eastern with the Wrestling Old Head this week. Or if you can't catch us live, I'm pretty good about getting the whole thing recorded and posted up on the YouTube. I usually get it up before midnight before midnight Central Time usually, but if not, I usually get it up as quickly as I can and you can watch it from there. And please give us some comments, like, subscribe, share the videos. The comments are huge. We're very big on responding back to the comments. We love to keep the conversation going through there. We are conversationalists at heart, and so if you have anything you want to talk about with us in there, please leave a comment. We are more than happy to discuss anything you guys want to with us there for sure, within reason.
Do they have a card? Do they have a card in for Clash yet, or are they still working on it?
Well, let's see here. Let's see, because
I got a feeling we got 2 weeks to go or start revving things up pretty soon.
Well, I know there's been a few things announced already. Let's see here. What do we got? Because you got the Logan Paul versus John Cena. That's for sure. I know it's, what is it? Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, LA Knight, CM Punk. That's a match for sure.
Interesting.
I feel like they're going to be doing Roman versus Bronson Reed with the Shula Fala, which can get us into Raw a little bit, really, because the part of Raw that I really enjoyed was seeing LA Knight and CM Punk in that promo conference. They have a good dynamic, the old, Rock Austin thing where they're two stars. I know they're not as big as them, but you know what I mean, where there's two stars that the fans like, but they don't have to like each other, but they have to team up for the storylines or stuff. I think that could be fun. And I think that Seth Rollins will win at Clash, which will probably lead to these two having a match at the next PLE, which should be good.
Going back to Drew and Cody though.
Yeah.
Wouldn't they have them on that show?
If Cody's healthy enough
Paris?
for it, I would think so. I would think that would be, so that would give us what, 1, 2, that would give us 4 matches if Roman and Reed have the match. There's also Stephanie Vaquer has earned a title shot. They're going to
start revving things up here, getting all settled pretty soon.
You would think so. You would think between tonight and tomorrow, or tonight and Raw on Monday, they absolutely would. If as long as Naomi's healthy and not pregnant, Stephanie Vaquer versus Naomi's a match. If Naomi has to relinquish the title or whatever, they'll have Vaquer in a title. So that's Vaquer has a women's title match at Clash for sure. She won that.
I think the Naomi thing's done.
What do you mean?
Think she's gonna announce the baby thing, or?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm not sure. I have no idea. I had assumed that it was going to be announced on the podcast with Stephanie, but since it wasn't, I wasn't sure. But so either way, Stephanie Vaquer is going to get a title shot at that show, whether it's, have a 4-way for the new champ or whatever. But yeah, I would assume they'll have Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns have a match because he's got 2 pairs of his shoes. The Shula Fala keeps growing, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's got to be, there should be some more announced pretty soon. I would think by the end of I would assume
probably
that,
one tonight, one tomorrow, one Monday.
Yeah.
You got me saying it now. Thanks.
Yeah,
One Monday.
my fault. That's on me. I own that. That's on me. Yeah, the only 3 announced so far is the Fatal 4-way for the heavyweight title: Cena and Logan, Naomi and Vaquer.
Yeah, maybe going with 5 max, right? 5 or 6.
I would maybe 6. I think they might go 6 for this one. We'll say just because it's Paris, so it's a bigger city, and then there's a lot of good stuff going on within it, where they could do it. So, but I would think, I think tonight we'll get it from Cody and Drew will be official after tonight, I would think. And then, maybe there's something with, maybe Tiffany has a match with the other women's title. I'm not sure. Or maybe Charlotte and Alexa have something with the women's tag titles.
Yeah.
There's a few other things there. I put this picture up here. I mean, I would maybe they'll get Breaker on the card somewhere. I'm not sure where they would get him, but I mean, as more Braun Breaker always with me, whether it's him in the match, cutting a promo, yelling at the camera, like, here, you guys are 100 years old between the 2 of you. I love the kid, man. He's great. And just the fact that Heyman is so involved in his career is just the greatest. Like, there's just, it's just awesome. I'm so happy.
Good to
for
see.
him. And
Good to see.
It really is. It really is. Yeah. No, I'm excited. But I mean, what else could they have at Clash with it? I mean, what other stuff? You could have something with the SmackDown tag titles. I know they're trying to figure out what to do with those and who's going to take on the Wyatts from there. So there's a few other there's definitely some other storylines that could come through with it. Maybe they'll do something with maybe they'll have that Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella match. I'm not sure. I know they're going to do,
maybe
they'll do the SmackDown and Raw. I'm not sure if they're doing, I'm assuming they're going to do this. I know for sure they're going to have to do the SmackDown before Clash in, I don't think they're doing it in Paris, but they'll probably do it either in France or England, something like that, for the show on, what would that be, the 29th? Because you got to be over there with it. So
yeah, they're right there.
So but these bigger matches that maybe could be on the PLE could be on the SmackDown before and still be a big show there. That could be at least something with it. But I don't know.
Figure it out. They always do.
That it's funny how that always works out. Where you're like, they're not really. This hasn't really done anything with it. This isn't really going for me. And then like 3 days before, you're like, you know what? Shit. I'm into this one.
When they want to heat it up, they do
well,
it.
I mean, that's even like what they do with wrestlers. Where like people are like, oh, this person's been buried or they're not on their TV. Like, look at Bronson Reed is always the example that I give where he was floundering and doing nothing for how long. And then they had him murk Seth Rollins, really quick. They give him the 6 tsunamis and he was a star. And then he joined the old bloodline and everything else from there. And he's only been pushed forward from that point. So
yeah, the injury hurt him. The injury actually hurt him.
No, the injury screwed it. But great for him. They came back and put him right in another main event group. So it works out well. But I was hoping that picture for Clash was a better, only the Starry Night stuff's supposed to be blurry there. Google, come on, guys. No, I'm excited for Clash. Though. I think it should be a fun show. We'll see how the crowd goes.
Plus, it's in the middle of the afternoon, so it's even better.
Right? Yeah. No, that's always fun. That's one of the reasons why people always ask me, like, why I love the English Premier League and why I enjoy watching that. I'm like, because the games, I can usually watch the game and still have the rest of my day to do something. The game's over by like 11 a.m. It's awesome. Sometimes they're a little early. Sometimes
on this team effort, you're on that one by yourself.
That's fine. Hey, I was just saying it's enjoyable to be able to still have your evening. Same idea, because they're pretty much in a similar time zone with it. It's kind of like when the Olympics are on and they're in a good time zone, and not like when you're watching it when the games are live at 1:30 a.m. It's a little rougher.
Yeah, I'm that guy that stays up late too and watches that shit live. I have to.
That's great. I mean, I see we all got things. I'm not a big Olympic. There's some. I do love curling. I'll give it that. I love the Winter Olympics in curling. That's always fun. But yeah, no, everybody's got their things. Like my team plays tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. my time, and I'm gonna get my ass up and drive to the pub and watch it with my buddies. It's gonna be fun. We usually get like 30 to 50 people for there, so it'll be a good time. Should be bigger for this year since we won a title last year. So.
They already start the next year already?
Oh yeah, dude. Soccer's a fucking endurance trial.
Jesus.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's why the sport people can make fun of it if they want to, and that's fine. The dives that happen, but it's an endurance. You run more than 3 miles every game. There used to only be 3 substitutes. Now there's 5. But yeah, the season goes from August to May. And then usually if there's the World Cup or the Euros, the guys are playing in the summer for their national team anyway. They get like 3 weeks of break. It's insane.
Yeah, I never go with they're not athletes because they obviously they are. Sure. I just go with the fact I don't like the sport because I grew up in Buffalo and it was hockey. I mean,
and I grew up in the desert around a lot of Hispanic people, and my dad was a coach. So not hard to find. You got the only ice rinks you're finding here are like expensive indoor ones. It's one of those situations. That's why I liked soccer and baseball growing up because you didn't need that much to play those games. Oh, yeah. So anything else you wanted to cover this week? This week was kind of a light week with what happened in the ring, but I feel like the outside the ring this week was pretty.
It was good newsworthy stuff, eh?
Yeah.
Nice.
No, this is we've talked about it before about, we're just going to cover what's interesting to us. Like, we don't care, like, if there's rumors or silly news. A lot of it, we're just like, we'll make a joke about and move on. But some shit happened this week. I mean, if TNA gets a real media rights deal, that's massive. And seeing Vince McMahon on TV, we all know who and what he is, but it'll always be interesting for us to see him on TV now because let's be real, none of us expected him to not be involved with WWE and still be alive. So
and also when someone announces something, I understand everyone's immediate. It's 2025. Everyone has to immediately react in some kind of way right off. Take a deep breath, soak it in, learn all the information first, then feel free. Don't just jump off the handle. Take it easy.
But see, that would take having patience, which
because I was mad at first when that ESPN deal came up, saying I'm not going to drop $30 a month. Then you realize that you don't have to. You have a provider. You're good.
No, you're right. No, and I was with, and that's why we have a little bit of patience. We understand. Hang on a second, let it play. I was on Spaces with MJ from NJ when he ran a Spaces last week, and shout out to him. Shout out to Julian Weeks, who's a pretty popular creator on Twitter, and he was in there with us, and he was saying how that's his first thing. Just gonna let it play out. Give it a minute. And it's like if everybody just took a second, but they all want to be first and give their opinions. And, like the first thing I saw about the ESPN deal was somebody's bullshit about, and I knew it was bullshit. And I did the same thing as you. I was mad for a second, but I'm like, well, let's see if that's real. Because the way it was presented to me is they were doing the ESPN UFC model where you're gonna have to pay $30 a month for your content and then 50 or whatever extra.
No, see, I knew that wasn't happening.
I knew it wasn't too. I just, when I saw that, I'm like, come on, guys. I must like hang on, like what's going on? But I'm just saying that was the first thing I saw. Now, granted, it was announced at 3 a.m. my time, and I usually wake up around 8:30. So there was a lot of time for people to post some bullshit first. So I just say the first thing I saw was that, and I knew that wasn't going to happen because they weren't ever going to go. They're never going to go back. They're not going to not charge you for pay-per-views for a decade and then be like, hey, remember these? Let's charge these again. That's not going to happen. But even so, I was like, well, what's the $30 a month about? I'm like, and then I saw if you have cable, if you have this, okay, so it's really not that. It's really this and that, and it makes a lot of sense. And the PLEs are not going to cost anything more, really. And then you see the stories, the news too, where it's like, well, what are you paying for? Well, Hulu. Well, that's going away to be part of the Disney. Okay. And then what's this going over to there? Like, so my yearly or monthly cost for next year really is going to be about the same moving forward.
Mine goes nowhere.
Right. You've got TV. Yeah. And honestly, my wife and I canceled DirecTV last year for other reasons and we're working with what we've got now. But honestly, depending on what we might go back, because if they
get a sweet deal if you go back.
Right.
And you're returning, you tell them you're a returning customer, it'll bend over backwards for you now.
I still get emails. Oh, yeah. I still get emails like, hey, come back with this. Hey, come back. Yeah. But one of them, well, actually, the reason I said it is because one of those recent emails was like, we'll also include Netflix for a year. It's like, hey, wait a minute. Like I'm like, give me Netflix for the length of my 3-year contract and we can talk about it. Now, you know what I mean? Like, there's
not going to do that.
See, let it all play out. Let's see how it all goes. And then it was funny, literally, they're with what UFC doing, and now UFC is getting away from that model and going to Paramount Plus. Like the pay-per-view model is dying. It's not already dead. Exactly. Yep, they nailed it. And I feel like that's, I mean, again, not to harp on AEW, but like, weren't they supposed to be moving to that either with, Mac, now HBO Max, whatever you want to call it, or even Amazon? I thought it was supposed to be part of it where you're not supposed to be paying $50 a month for a show. Like, it's just not the world anymore. That's not the world we live in with content.
Yeah,
they've got to,
they lost something there.
Haven't figured out exactly what, but they've lost something. Something is misplaced.
Dude, if they just would have introduced this on Max or Amazon, pick it either way. Just have your subscription to either, and AEW pay-per-views are included. Yeah. They're not in this position at all. Not even close. They're so much better off. Yeah. But nope, we didn't do it that way.
Oh, side note, I was wrong. So Clash in Paris is actually August 31st. So it is on that Sunday. So Sunday? I guess then Raw. Yeah. Sunday, August 31st. So I guess Raw on Monday. Right. I'm looking at the poster right now. I'm looking at the poster. It says August 31st. I'm looking at 3 different posters on Google right now. And I even went to their Wikipedia. Yeah, Sunday, August 31st. So my point is the Raw, Monday, September 1st is Raw live from Paris, France. Which makes sense because Netflix, they can air it live. Because if they do it with the SmackDown, they have to tape it for the US audience, and people get pissy. But Raw, we can air it live, and so then we get Raw early too.
That makes sense. Then can you do it Sunday and it comes on at 12 o'clock my time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh shit, 10 a.m. That's 10 a.m. for me. Awesome. Brunch and wrestling. I like it. And then we can do our spaces afterwards. And
that was my concern. That's why.
Yeah, no, that's a good valid concern. But yeah, no, I definitely, my bad. I just assumed it was August 30th, although I did see that somewhere, but no, August 31st. And then, that does make sense though, to have the Raw for Netflix afterwards. Yeah. That's again with the ESPN deal. I'm just surprised it wasn't Netflix. I was convinced it was, but then you look at WWE and they're their whole thing is diversifying. That's what they do. That's why they have a show on broadcast, a show on cable.
The other reason why I'm sure they did it, NFL's involved in that deal too.
With ESPN?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like NFL Red Zone is going to be included in this package too.
Right.
NFL Red Zone is one of the most popular things that fantasy players watch all freaking day on Sunday. From the time they wake up to the last ball is dropped in the end zone at the end. Red Zone is amazing. Scott Hansen on that show is unbelievable.
Yeah. No.
Amazing.
As you know, as I've gotten older, like general sports, I haven't been as interested anymore. But when I was a big NFL guy back in like before the pandemic, yeah, that was the Red Zone. That's the reason I had DirecTV until I didn't, was because DirecTV had the Red Zone. Like, that was why I did it. And if you worked with their retention team, you could just be like, I'll cancel my cable if you don't give me the Red Zone for free. And you could eventually get the Red Zone for free every year.
Yeah, Red Zone's amazing because all they do is just cover. Anytime you get inside like the 25-yard line, they're on it.
And then if there's two, you can have the split screens. No, I was never a big fantasy football guy. Like, I've done it, and I've never finished lower than third place in any fantasy league I've ever played in. I'm just not a big fan of it because I don't. But I was really, really a big fan of pick'em leagues. You know, whether it's by the point spread or just pick winning or lose. So I was always watching it for that because I really enjoyed the. You know, like, oh shit, I went 13-2 this week, the Monday night game. If Philadelphia wins,
I'm immersed in the NFL, as you can tell from our RJ interview that we had.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's great. No, that's awesome. That's why we're a great team. Like, that's why. So if we do get, if we ever can get if we ever get Nathan Frazier or Wade Barrett, some European guys, right? I can chat with them. I understand not only soccer, but I understand. I lived in London for 6 months. I did a semester over there. So one of my best friends lives in London. So it's one of those things that I've got between the two of us, we've got to. That's why when we had RJ on there, I was like, perfect. This is George's show.
Hi, Shubin. How are you?
Yeah. My buddy Shubes. He's good people, man. The Spaces time frame. We're literally going live like right as he's getting ready for bed. So that's a good thing for people to know. If you ever see me bring him onto a Spaces and I jump the gun with him, it's because it's usually past midnight his time.
Yeah,
so I'm like, bring him on. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good thing to just bring him on, hang out, and he's usually smart enough to know that what he wants to do. He'll try to give us a question that'll spark a conversation, which is always good.
That's a happy note to wrap up the show.
Yeah, so that's who we are, what we're about. I love it. Awesome.
Perfect.
Wow. Thanks everybody for listening. Please like, share, subscribe. We are trying to grow. Hey, if there's any, like George just said, if there's anybody you want us to have on the show, let us know. Shoot us a message, tag us on Twitter, and you can put a comment in the video, or if there's any people that you think that I or George and I would be good to go guest star on. We're happy to do guest spots on other shows, watch alongs of PLEs. I'm happy to do whatever with it. It's a lot of fun. And the more people we can interact with, the better. So thanks everybody for listening, and we will catch you next time. Peace, everybody.